Wish you warm welcome. In today's full body yoga, we'll focus on lengthening and strengthening back muscles. We'll begin our warm up with spot walk or spot jog. Engage your arms. If you can jog, do that. Bring your attention to your breath. Observe what area of your foot landing on the mat or on the ground. Gentle smile on your face that allows you to bring your attention here and now. So feel free to walk, jog in between, then maybe walk. Whatever suits, whatever allows your body to get more engaged, get ready for the practice. Let the blood flow. Feel free to raise your arms and bring them down. Raise your arms, bring them down. Keep moving your legs. Raise your arms sideways, bring them down. One more time. Raise up, bring down, raise up, bring down. Let's do a bit more spot jog. Relax your jaw. That means no clenching or no hardening of your jaw. Keep the chest lifted, looking straight. So not rounding at the back and looking down while jogging. Instead, maintain the chest up. And that also means letting the shoulders go down instead of lifting them up, hunching them. Allow them to go down. And it's not anyone's fault. We sit on computer long day and that causing us to do this. Allow them to go down, creating more space from your ears to your shoulders. Keep breathing. Don't hold the breath. Rest. Pause. Come to Tadasana, mountain pose with feet hip width apart. So just have a look at your feet. Make sure they are hip width apart. Toes are pointing straight towards the wall at the front. Arms at your sides. Pay attention to the breath. Don't change your breath. Let the fingers of your hands extend. We use Tadasana mountain pose to calibrate our alignment, our breath. Just stay here for one more breath. Release and relax. Next, passing a ball to a person behind. What that means, while having your feet slightly more than hip width apart, you're holding an imaginary ball like a football or volleyball in your hand, and then you turn and you pass it to the person behind you. Okay, you turn and you pass it to the person behind you. Let's do that for a minute. Start. Keep going. Slow. You don't have to be fast. And lift that back heel to turn easily. And when you turn, see if you can extend your arms more towards the wall behind. Okay, so just to show you at the front, extend your arms. When you're turning, extend your arms while not lifting your shoulders. Shoulders are still down and you're passing a ball to a person behind. Few more iterations. Last two. Keep breathing. Don't hold the breath. Come back to the center. Pause. Back to Tadasana. This time when you are in Tadasana, mountain pose, watch the alignment of your body weight on your feet. While maintaining awareness of your breath, don't hold the breath. Press your big toe, your little toe, your inner heel and outer heel well onto the ground to bring the evenness of your weight onto the mat. Release and relax. The last exercise of our warm-up, we'll do a small sequence. Come at the front of your mat, stand in Tadasana, look straight, just like we did in earlier. Chest lifted, shoulders going down. Inhale and raise your arms up. Exhale and bend your legs and bring your hands onto the mat. Then walk your legs back, come to downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stay here for a breath, feet hip width apart. Then walk your legs back towards your hands and then slowly come up while rolling each vertebra at a time. Okay, back to mountain pose Tadasana. Once more, inhale and raise your arms up. Exhale and bend your legs, bring your hands onto the mat. 10, come to downward dog. Feet hip width apart and your hands are shoulder distance apart. Slow and steady breath. Then walk your legs towards your hand direction. Come up. Back to Tadasana. Let's do 3 more repetitions of this small sequence. Inhale and raise more. Exhale and bend your arms and bring them on the mat. Walk your legs back. Move your hips more back towards the wall behind. Walk your legs towards your hand direction. Then roll each vertebra at a time. Come back to Tadasana. Inhale and raise your arms. Exhale and bring your hands onto the mat. Back to downward dog. Breathe, don't hold the breath. Walk your legs forward towards your hands. This time, when you come to forward bend, pay attention to your feet. Press them well onto the ground. What I mean by that is you're not heavy on the balls of your feet or on your heel. So bring that evenness of your weight and open the back of your legs. So straighten the legs to the extent you can. Make sure you maintain the intensity of the stretch that you are creating at the back of your legs to medium or slightly higher than intensity. Then, while maintaining your legs straight, roll each vertebra at a time. Back to mountain pose. Take a breath here. Last iteration. Raise your arms up on inhale. Exhale and bend your legs and bring your hands onto the mat. On exhale, walk back to downward dog. This time when you are in downward dog, press your fingers well onto the mat. Press your all fingers, especially your thumbs, your first finger and little finger well onto the mat. Feel that pressure when you press them well onto the mat. Then walk your legs back towards your hands. Once more, straighten the back of your legs. Create more opening at the back of your knees, at the back of your thighs. And then slowly come up. Back to Tadasana. Release and relax. Come to the center. In the next section of today's practice, we'll focus on traditional asana. Starting with arm variations. I'm just turning here to show my back to give you better view. Come to Tadasana. You don't have to turn and bring your arms at your sides, your feet together. Observe your body weight. Let your toes spread. So lift your toes, let them spread and then press them well onto the mat. While maintaining the chest lifted and shoulders back and down, bend your left arm and bring it on your back. Bend your right arm and place it on your back like this and catch hold of your forearms. If you can, catch hold of your elbows. Make sure when you catch hold of your forearms or elbows, you don't push your rib cage forward or lift the buttocks up. So lift the front strap of your bottom up towards the chin. That means you are lifting the front of your pelvis, up towards the chin to bring your pelvis in neutral position, looking straight. release, come back to Tadasana. This time, bend your right arm first, bring it on your back, then bend your left arm and catch hold of your elbows or your forearm. Pay attention to your rib cage, to your torso. Make sure you're not pushing forward. Make sure you're not heavy on the ball of your feet. Bring that weight back on your heels if you observe that you're heavy on your toes or the balls of your feet. And also your abdomen, your rib cage, bring it in like this, but moving the shoulders back, creating that space from your ears to your outer shoulders. Release and relax. Come back to Tadasana with feet hip width apart, arms at your sides, and then raise your arms, bring them in line with your shoulders, palms facing towards the ground. Then let them go all the way up towards the ceiling, palms still facing towards each other, and then bring them down. Let's do 5 times. Raise your arms all the way up. When you raise your arms, see you are not lifting the shoulders up. Gently bring them down, but don't harden your shoulders when you bring them down towards your ground. Few more times. Raise your arms up, palms facing towards each other, Urdhva Hasta, that means upward arms. Then slowly bring them down. Raise your arms up, bring them down. Doesn't matter what direction your palms are facing when you are bringing them up or down, but when you have your arms up, they are facing towards each other, going closer towards your ears. So if your arms are forward like this, then try and bring them more towards your ears. And just like we did earlier, pay attention to your feet, bring that balance of your weight, release and relax. Next, we are going to practice Gomukhasana arm variation. So I'm going to use a belt to demonstrate. If you have a belt, then pause the video and grab a belt. If you don't have a belt, then something that can function as a belt like a stroll or a piece of cloth which is long and thin, that can do. Okay, once more I turn to show my back to give you better view. So put a belt on your right shoulder like this, then come to your Tadasana, bend your left arm and bring it between your shoulder blades. Our intention is to bring to our shoulder blades. It's absolutely fine if it's on your back somewhere like this. Then catch hold of the belt, raise your right arm up, bend it at the elbow and catch hold of the other end of the belt. And then you will slide your hands on the belt towards each other. So when you slide your hand, intention is to bring your hand between your shoulder blades like this. Okay, let's try that. One more time. When you do this, observe where your body weight on your feet, observe where the torso is and the alignment of your pelvis. Lift the front strap of your pelvis up just like we were doing earlier. Relax your face. Watch where your head is not tilting or not going forward. Let it stay neutral. That means it's slightly back and in the center. Change. Bring your arms at your sides. Change the direction of your belt. Put it on your left shoulder if you're using one. And then bring your left hand on your back. Raise your opposite arm and catch hold of the belt. If you're not using the belt, then just your hands on the back like this. It's absolutely fine if your hands are here. Intention is to move them slowly towards the gap or space between your shoulder blades, which will come with time, slow progress, no rush. And be careful with the intensity you're creating at your shoulder joint. Maintain it to medium or slightly higher. Slowly you will get that opening your shoulders. That's what we want here. Relax your jaw, relax your face, move your head back. So honestly, it took a long time for me to be able to clasp my fingers behind my back, because In comparison to my left shoulder, I had less opening in my dominant hand, which is right hand. And it's very common that dominant hand or dominant side of your body somehow has less opening in comparison to your opposite side. Release your arms, come back to Tadasana. Now let's practice Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior Pose 1 variation. Bring your feet together so that inner edges of your feet touching each other. Bring your hands to your chest so that fingers pointing towards each other, and make sure when your hands are at your chest, your shoulders are not lifted, bring them down. Then bend your legs, jump or walk your legs wide apart. Take a longer stance between your legs. Bring your hands to your hips. I'm mirroring the pose here. That means this is my right, which is same as yours. Turn your right leg out to the right, roughly 90 degrees towards the wall on your right. Then observe where your right heel is. It's roughly in line with the arch of your left foot. If not, adjust your legs. Then turn your back leg, back foot, so that the toes are pointing towards the wall at the front. But when you do that, there's a slight movement there. So come back. When you turn your foot, just rotate it on the ball of your foot without changing much of your alignment, so that toes are pointing towards the wall on your right. Maintain your hands to your hips. Then bend your front leg to lower your hips down towards the ground. The moment you do that, see where your knee is. If it's passing the ankle joint like mine, then wiggle your back leg more towards the wall behind and bring your right knee in line with your ankle joint. Then exhale and press your right foot to come up. Let's do 2 more iterations. Inhale and go down. Exhale and come up. One more time. Go down with inhalation. Maintain the chest lifted. Exhale and come up. Turn both the feet in so that your toes are pointing towards the wall at the front. Turn your left leg 90 degrees to the left. Lift your back foot so that your toes are pointing towards the wall on your left. Then once more, bend your front leg to go down. Wiggle the legs, adjust the distance so that your knee stays in line with your ankle joint. Go down, breathe, don't hold the breath. Exhale and come up. Let's do 2 more times. Inhale and go down. Exhale and come up. Make sure your chest is lifted and shoulders are back when you do this. Go down, come up, turn your feet in, bring your hands to your chest, bend your legs, jump or walk back into Tadasana. Take a breath here and we'll repeat. Bring your hands to your chest, bend your legs, jump or walk your legs wide apart, longer stance. Now you know that longer stance is required. Turn your right foot out, turn your back foot, your left foot, so that toes are pointing towards the wall at your right. And your back heel is lifted. Bend your right leg, go down, lower the trunk, make sure your chest is lifted, torso is not forward, it's in line with your hips, and your shoulders are back. Go down, come up. Let's do 3 more reps here. Go down, come up, breathe, don't hold the breath. Go down on inhalation, exhale and come up. One more round here. When you come up, make sure you press that right foot well onto the ground. Change, let's do the opposite side. Breathe, don't hold the breath. Inhale and go down. Exhale while pressing that left foot strongly onto the ground, come up. Make sure all the edges of your front foot touching well onto the ground when you come up. Keep going. Last 2 reps here. 1. Exhale and come up. Turn your feet in. Bring your hands to your chest. Bend your legs back to Tadasana. Bring your attention back to your breath. Observe your balance on your feet and let your toes extend. We'll repeat one more time. Bring your hands to your chest. Bend your legs. Jump or walk your legs. Longer stance. Turn your right foot out. Turn the back leg in. Faster this time. Now you know the drill. And this time when you go down, raise your arms up and maintain them up if you can. Otherwise, maintain your hands on your hips. All right, let's do that. 4 more times. Go down, come up, inhale and go down, exhale and come up. Maintain the chest lifted, palm facing towards each other. Bring your hands to your hips, turn your feet in, then change. Press your left foot well onto the ground. When you come up, press all the edges of your left foot when coming up. One more iteration. Well done. Bring your hands to your hips, turn your feet in, hands to your chest, then back to Tadasana. This time, when you are in Tadasana, bring your feet hip width apart, arms at your sides. Bring your attention back to your breath. Relax your jaw, relax your face. Release. Now, building upon what we just did, a mini back bend, we progress towards building more strength in our back muscles through locust pose Salbasana. Lie on your abdomen. Bring your forehead on the mat and your arms at your side so that your palms are facing towards the ceiling. So back of your hands are touching to the ground. And your feet are hip width apart and top of your feet are on the ground. So toes are untucked. Now maintain the natural breath. On next exhale, lift your head, lift your chest, come up and go down. Exhale and come up. Inhale and go down. Keep going. Let's do a few more reps. Make sure you're moving your shoulders back towards the hips, away from your ears. Exhale and come up. Inhale and go down. Maintain the alertness in your legs. That means your legs are not rolling in or out. Your heels are pointing towards the ceiling. Last iteration. Slowly bring your arms forward, cross your hands, and place your forehead at the back of your palms, resting for 2 breaths here. Let's repeat. This time we'll engage the leg along with our upper body. So one leg at a time. So from here, exhale and raise your head, raise your chest, and one leg. Next time, opposite leg. Keep going. Let's do 4 more reps. Exhale and come up. Maintain the leg straight. Try not to bend it at your knee. Come on, you can do it. You're building a lot of strength in your back muscles, in your lower back, in your mid back. Along with that, you're strengthening your back of your legs. Last iteration. Slowly rest your forehead onto the mat or cross your arms and rest your forehead at the back of your palms. So when you rest your forehead, observe where your shoulders are. Try to move them back. You are always trying to create space from your neck, from your ears to your shoulders, moving them back and at your sides. Let's repeat. This time, we'll raise both the legs along with our upper body. If that's too intense, then just raise one leg at a time. Okay, let's start. Exhale and come up, and your hands are still on the ground, not lifting them up. Exhale and come up. Maintain both the legs straight. Your abdomen is on the ground, and you're trying to lift all of your ribs up in the air. That's the intent, that's where we are progressing. Keep going. More strength in your back, in your lower back. Maintain the feet hip width apart. Make sure your heels are still pointing towards the ceiling. Relax your face, relax your jaw. Feel good about the practice you're doing and the strength that you are building. Last one rotation. Relax. Cross your hands and let your forehead rest. Allow your shoulders to relax. Observe the breath. Where do you feel the breath? In your nose, in your throat, in your chest. Pay attention to that. Now use your hands as support to come up. Grab a belt. Place your feet at the front like this and place a belt. If you don't have a belt, anything that can function as a belt will do. For example, a thin piece of cloth which is long will do. And place it at the front of your ankle joint like this. And bring the center like this towards your pelvic floor. I will show it here once more. Place a belt at the front of your ankle joint and from the center pull it back towards your pelvic floor so that you create a loop next to your ankle joint like this. Okay, creating a loop next to your ankle joint. Now while holding that loop, lie on your back, moving your heels closer to your hips. Breathe, don't hold the breath. If you can catch hold of your ankle joint, then do that. So we are using the belt to progress our hands or to move our hands more towards the ankle joint. So slide your hands on the belt more towards your ankle joint. Now while pressing your feet, observe where your feet are. Your toes are pointing towards the wall at the front and your knees are in line with your hips. They are not falling out to the side like this. While maintaining this alignment, press your feet onto the ground and raise your hips higher and come down. So exhale and raise your hips higher and come down gently under control. Keep going. Let's do 4 more iterations here. Pressing all the edges of your feet, not curling of your toes when you go up. Make sure inner edges and outer edges are pressed equally onto the mat. Relax your jaw. Last iteration here. Straighten your legs. Wiggle them side by side to release any tension or tightness. And we'll repeat. So once more, catch hold of the loop or your ankle joint. Bring your heels next to your hips. Observe where the alignment of your knees and your feet. Let the toes extend. And this time, when you raise your hips higher, turn your right shoulder in towards the spine and your left shoulder in towards the spine. Then raise your hips slightly more higher, a centimeter more higher, and then come down gently. Keep going. Let's do 5 more reps here. Exhale and come up. These next 3 rounds, when you go up, stay there for a breath. Press your feet well onto the ground. See if you're pressing through your big toe and little toe onto the mat. You're building a lot of strength in your inner thighs, at the back of your thighs, and in your back. That's what we want. Come under control, come down. 2 more rounds here. Go up. This time when you are up, see if you can go a centimeter more higher towards the ceiling. Press those feet well onto the ground. Stay here for a moment. Come under control, come down. Last iteration, with all your strength, go up but under control. Raise higher. Keep going. Stay here for a breath. Press your feet well onto the ground to lift yourself up. Observe the sensations that you're feeling in your legs, at the back of your leg, in your glutes, in your buttocks, at your lower back. Gently come down. Straighten the legs. Wiggle your legs side by side to release any tightness or tension. Arms at your sides. Pause. Turn to your side and lie on your abdomen. Forehead rested onto the mat, and bring your hands next to your chest so that fingers are pointing towards the wall at your front. And your feet are hip width apart. Tuck your toes in and move your heels back towards the wall behind so that knees are lifted up towards the ceiling. Observe the alignment of your feet. Make sure your heels are not rolling out or in, and top of your shoulders are moving back while your elbows are in. That means close to your trunk, not falling out to the side. Now bring your knees onto the mat. Press your hands onto the mat and come up. Sit buttocks to the heels. Observe your hands. Press them well onto the mat. Make sure they are shoulder distance apart and even distance between your fingers. Then move forward to bring your shoulders roughly onto your wrist. Now lift your knees, lift your hips to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Back of your head is roughly in line with your back, and you're moving your hips more towards the wall behind. Pay attention to your breath and press all the fingers well onto the mat, and use that strength through your hand to straighten your arms at the elbows. Slowly bend your knees. Come down. Stay here for a breath and we'll repeat. When you straighten your arm, make sure you're not hyperextending your arms at the elbows. Pay attention to that. If you have tendency to hyperextend, then bend your elbows slightly towards the outside. Let's get into downward dog once more. This time when you are into downward dog, press your first finger, your little finger, thumbs well onto the mat. Arms straight, and bring your hips more towards the wall behind and your torso more towards the ground direction, so that you're creating length at the sides of your trunk, in your back. You're lengthening your spine. Don't hold the breath and don't force your heels down towards the ground. Let them come towards the ground to the extent that they can, and gently will progress
into the pose where heels are coming down towards the ground. Make sure your heels and toes are in line. That means your feet are not rolling in or out. On next exhale, bring your knees to the ground, tabletop position, and we'll repeat. Take a breath here. When you are ready, come back to downward dog. This time, when you are into downward dog, imagine as if there is a belt at the top of your thighs and you are being pulled back through your thighs towards the wall behind. So your hips are moving back towards the wall behind and your torso is getting longer. You're creating length. So intent of today's class is creating flexibility and strength in your back. So that's we are trying to achieve here through creating length. Breathe, don't hold a breath. On next inhale, I want you to take a deeper breath. Feel the breath at the front of your chest, in your back ribs. Hold that for a moment and slow exhale like you're saying Om. Slowly bring your knees to the ground. Sit buttocks to the heels and then move your knees towards the side edges of your mat and top of your feet onto the ground so that toes are pointing towards each other. Then arms forward, rest your forearms onto the ground and your torso is between your legs. You can rest your forehead onto the mat or it can stay up in the air. In that case, you may want your arms straight, forearms not resting onto the ground. Choose the option that suits you best, that allows you to relax. Two more breaths here. With each inhalation, observe how your abdomen pushes against your inner thighs. On next exhale, come forward, come forward and sit in cross leg position. We'll practice 2 rounds of Ujjayi Pranayam. Place your hands onto your thighs or at your lower abdomen. Choose the option that suits. Quick recap of Ujjayi Pranayam, that is victorious breath. You constrict your throat and you inhale and you exhale. You take deep inhalation and you exhale under control. So if you don't know how to constrict your throat, bring your hands at the front. Imagine your hand is a mirror and show me how you fog the mirror. What you just did is you constrict the throat. That's what you want when you inhale and exhale in Ujjayi Pranayam. Initially, it's hard to achieve, but when you try it a couple of times, you do get it. So it's absolutely fine at the start if you don't feel it or you can't let the air come brushing through the back of your throat. That's absolutely fine. Try it a few times, keep faith, and you will get it. Close your eyes, sit upright. Feel your sitting bones on the mat. Feel free to move your buttock flesh away to feel the sitting bones onto the mat. Without opening your eyes, make sure your torso is in the center. You're not leaning back or forward towards right or left. Maintain the natural breath. Let's start with constricted throat. Take deep inhalation. Hold for a moment and exhale with constriction at your throat. Let's do 2 more rounds. Make this a last round. When you finish, bring your breath to normal breath. Without opening your eyes, lie on your back. It's time to practice deep state of rest, Shavasana. If you are in the region where weather is cold, then feel free to take something warm underneath and top of you. Bring your arms at your sides or on your abdomen, palm facing towards the ground or towards the ceiling. Find the position for your arms that suits you well, and your arms are in resting position so you don't feel any tension or tightness in your arms. Allow your legs to roll in or out. Now it's time to let go. Any hold in your body, in your muscles, let it go. In this pose, we'll let any tension, any hold on our muscles disappear, as if your body is melting into the mat. It doesn't have any form or shape. Any frown lines at your forehead, let them soften. Relax your jaw. Pay attention to your toes. See if there is any hold or tightness there. Let it go. Imagine as if there is no hold in your legs. You're not maintaining with awareness any hold in your legs. They are loose and relaxed. Bring your attention to your lower back. See if there is any tension or tightness there. If so, imagine on an exhale, you are letting that tightness disappear. Relax your shoulders towards the ground. Feel free to choose a position for your arms that suits you well. Relax your throat. Slowly bend your legs and bring the soles of your feet onto the ground, onto your mat. And bring your hands on your abdomen next to your lower front ribs. When you are ready, turn to your side and stay here for a moment. Maintain the natural breath. Now take support of your hand and come up and sit in cross-leg position. Be gentle in your movements. Take support of your hands beside your hips to sit upright. Bring your hands to your chest in prayer position, Namaskar Mudra. Allow your elbows to go down towards the ground. That means relax your shoulders, let them sink down. Bring attention to the breath. Bring the face of a person you love in front of your eyes and hold that face at the front of your eyes for next 5 breaths. Dedicate your practice to that person. Celebrate this small win of your day where you were engaged in the practice to build strength and length in your back muscles. With gentle smile on your face, open your eyes. Namaste and thank you. Release your hands onto your thighs. If you like today's video, give me a thumbs up or let me know in comments section. This way, I know what content you like and what content to create more. And it also helps others to stay motivated, to stay engaged in the practice. See you next time. Till then, be your best version.